right, guys, welcome back to another video. Like clockwork, we got some great Xbox news the other day with the showcase announcement that is looking like it is going to be the best Xbox showcase and the biggest Xbox showcase, with just the sheer amount of games and content that Xbox has under their wings. All of the studios, you have Call of Duty, the new one going to be announced. Like, it sounds like it is going to be the best Xbox showcase, topping the previous years. And like clockwork, as soon as the good Xbox news hits, some doom and gloom hits, and this time via Jez Corden and the Discord, his Discord, where he's talking about the Xbox multi-platform strategy. Now, to be fair, I mean, he's just discussing his thoughts. He addressed it this morning in terms of what people have been saying about this. But basically what Jez has said here in Discord is that Xbox, like people have been speculating, is going to be putting everything onto the other platforms. It's not something that I would say is that surprising based off of the Xbox business update, where they did say that they were going to be evaluating these 4 games and then more games could be coming over. Now, again, all of this is speculation. All of this could not be true, but I just want to talk about it because it is an interesting prospect based off of, first of all, the news cycle. Good news, bad news always is happening with Xbox. It's almost like it is set up on purpose. I'm not saying that it is, but it just seems that way. That would, to keep that engagement going, you have to have that doom and gloom following the excitement for what is to come in the future for Xbox. Here is what Jez says in the Discord, or at least it's broken down here on Reset Era, saying all Xbox first-party games are coming to PlayStation, even Forza and Halo. Xbox will be more Steam-like in the future. Affordable prices, sales, more open for devs. Future Xbox hardware is going to be for fans who want it. Xbox hardware will be niche like the Steam Deck. The next Xbox will sideload Steam. And he says, I don't think they expect to ever grow in hardware. And then ends it off saying, he said, nobody wanted to give Xbox a chance, so this is what they get with a Sony monopoly. So there's a couple of points here. All Xbox first-party games, including Halo and Forza, going over to PlayStation. Still kind of hard to believe. You would think that they want to keep their pillars as games that you can only get within the Xbox ecosystem. You would think that they would still want to drive some sort of marketing for that ecosystem with first-party content. Now, I totally am on the side that first-party exclusives aren't the main seller for your ecosystem and for your console itself. I mean, you take a look at Steam and how popular that is. They don't really have any big first party exclusives that they do put out. And you take a look at the numbers on PlayStation and an Xbox, the majority of people are playing third party, but you would think kind of like what Valve has with some of the stuff that they put out like Half-Life Alyx and on their VR and stuff, that they would want to have at least something, the pillars, the Halos, the Forzas, the Gears, staying within the Xbox ecosystem to get people to sign up and subscribe to Game Pass and to sign up and make an Xbox count. But based off of what he is speculating here, everything is going over. Now, it being more like Steam-like in the future, I think, is a move that will be very popular for a lot of gamers, especially PC gamers, and a move that will probably be prosperous for Xbox. I think the Steam value and the Steam strategy works very well. Very hard for other PC launchers to break in and overtake Valve, even when they're offering great deals, offering amazing splits to developers like what Epic is doing. It's just really almost impossible because Steam does it the best. Affordable prices, sales, more open to devs. That sounds very good. Future Xbox hardware is going to be for fans who want to. This one is the most intriguing point of them all, because to me, this sounds like they would be creating a console where they aren't going to be taking any losses right at launch. Very kind of similar to the Nintendo Switch, where they're going to be selling it to whoever really wants it. Obviously, the Switch sold hundreds of millions, but they're going to be selling it to people who want it, and they're going to be making profit off of each console sold right away. It does not make any sense to me to create a console and try to cut out as many people as possible minus the fans, because the reality is, even if there's like 55 million Xboxes sold, not all of them are Xbox fans. They may have just purchased it on a whim. They may have purchased it for a particular reason, but they may not go out and want to purchase the next Xbox because they aren't really the core fans. So creating just consoles just for fans, I think, is going to be very low numbers. And I also think that, as Sarabon said, they're making the greatest technical leap going into the next generation. Does not make sense to only make a big technical leap console for just the fans. It seems like they would be taking a loss on a lot of those units. But on the handheld side of things, maybe they're going to make a very affordable handheld that will be for the fans, where they can take it and have Xbox ecosystem everywhere. And that may make a bit more sense. They say Xbox hardware will be niche like the Steam Deck. And that's where I kind of go back to the handheld things. That does kind of make sense if they're planning on just creating a handheld where they're going to be making money on each unit sold. And it's just going to allow people to take Xbox wherever they want to go. Next, Xbox will side load Steam. They open it up and basically make it a PC. I could definitely see that happening, and that will be a huge seller in and of itself to pick up Xbox hardware, especially if they are releasing like a lower priced gaming PC that allows you to play everything AAA in a pretty good setting. They say he says, I don't think they're expected to ever grow in hardware. And I feel like it's not just because Xbox has failed. I think it's because the market has stagnated, and I don't even foresee PlayStation really growing that much more in hardware, and maybe even the Nintendo Switch. Maybe Nintendo has reached their peak, and the Switch 2, it will be interesting to see if the Switch 2 even outsells the Nintendo Switch, because the current Nintendo Switch is about to become the best-selling console of all time. So can they even outsell the current Nintendo Switch? Probably not. The console market has absolutely stagnated, and we have information to kind of back that up, as we did get this article here from VentureBeat from Dean Takahashi saying the AMD CEO foresees sustained growth driven by insatiable demand for AI. And when he going through this article, he does mention about how the gaming demand is lower, which would mean the console demand is lower. And Phil Spencer has mentioned multiple times that the console market is essentially dried up. It's really hard to grow the console market right now. And in this article, it says, in fact, gaming demand is down a lot. AMD CFO Gene Hu in the analyst call says, if you look at gaming, demand has been quite weak. That's well known. Also, inventory issues. We guided down more than 30% in the first and second quarters, and the second half will be lower than the first half. That is how we are looking for the gaming business this year. And looking further ahead, AI represents an unprecedented opportunity for AMD. While there has been significant growth in AI infrastructure build-outs, we are still in the very early stages of what we believe is going to be a period of sustained growth driven by an insatiable demand for both more specialized AI and high-performance general purpose compute. And those things, high performance, all that stuff, it is really, general purpose computing is not gaming consoles. We know AMD has partnered with Xbox and with PlayStation to build out those consoles. And in fact, this quarter, AMD has reported muted financial results, and they are essentially saying it is because of the gaming consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S, as they do enter their fifth year in the market. So gaming console demand is lower. I think Xbox has seen the writing on the wall that it is harder to grow in the gaming market, and they're kind of changing up their strategy. I don't think this is something that's going to be completely different than what PlayStation does. I think PlayStation is kind of following along the same lines. I don't know if they're going to be putting everything on Xbox in the next 10 years, but it is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, again, it's all speculation, and Jez has kind of addressed this because it sounded like to a lot of people he was blaming the fans on what he was saying here. He says, seeing people spreading this out of context comment and acting like I was blaming Xbox fans, which is bullshit taken out of context. I was talking about the way Microsoft identifies trends like going all digital, but then F's up the messaging. Content creators didn't wait 5 minutes for the details on the DRM sharing system, which isn't far removed from what Steam is doing now. You had lots of content created on the backlash, and Microsoft was caught totally off guard because they are great at identifying trends, but not so great at positioning and messaging them. And that's a good point. They are definitely great at identifying trends. A lot of the trends that Xbox has thought about, that has happened really in terms of the gaming industry. They have created the trends essentially, and they just are really bad at marketing them and putting them out in a timely manner where people don't get outraged and bring negative PR towards the brand. And again, this is just another thing that is continuing to happen. He says, I've argued that they are too data driven. I could be wrong, but this could be another example of them identifying a trend too early, giving Sony a monopoly, and then wondering where they went wrong. I never once blame fans, and I resent that accusation. I advocate so hard for Xbox fans every single day. So that's Jez's take on this. But again, it's him basically saying, this is the future. This is the trend. Xbox is going in this direction, and you should probably sit back and kind of expect a completely different market and a completely different Xbox as we move into the next generation. I just want to talk about this because, again, this is more doom and gloom negative news for a lot of people, I think, out there hearing this right after the good news. And I don't think this at the end of the day is really that bad. I think putting more games everywhere is going to help Xbox grow, going to help their ecosystem, going to help Game Pass. But the question here, are they actually going to be putting their major pillars everywhere else? Are they going to be putting the Halos and the Gears and the Forzas on the other platforms? Because I think that will be a major moment in the gaming industry. And I think that will be a major moment amongst the fans. If you thought the meltdowns and fallouts were crazy when they announced the 4 games that in reality you don't really think of them as the main pillars of Xbox. You thought those meltdowns were bad. Imagine if what Jez is saying comes true here with the Halo and the Forza and the Gears coming over to the PlayStation 5. I think we will also be seeing PlayStation games at some point coming to Xbox, especially their multiplayer stuff. So this is just the way of the industry, and we will keep our eyes open as to if any of this does come true. But I will end the video there, guys. Let me know what you think about this. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.